I'm glad you brought up Michael Jordan because I didn't want to steal what I thought would be Trey's question. I would think you guys have Michael Jordan on speed dial.
He just called me the other day.
And he's everyone's number one wish.
Yeah,
right?
He wished me the best of luck on today's podcast.
Oh, great.
No kidding.
That's a joke.
Tell me.
Was that a joke?
You got me fooled. Hey,
I know.
Clip out.
I thought
Let's clip out the joke
Gullible.
part. Let's clip out the joke part.
Losers.
Keep it. It's totally serious. All right, we are back with episode number 96 of the best local podcast, Sarasota Speaks. As always, my name is Brad Hannon.
Trey Martell.
Felipe Colon.
And we've got an amazing guest, actually the wife of a former guest, two-time former guest, Michael Klauber. We've got Terri Klauber representing the Make-A-Wish Foundation. How you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
At least I can get your last name right because I've said it several times. And we're talking about an amazing organization, so I want to jump right into that. Okay. But before we get into the organization, how did you get involved with Make-A-Wish? Because you're on the advisory board now, correct?
Yes, I am. So about 2008, 2009, not sure what year, I was invited to a luncheon at Michael's on East, and it was a Make-A-Wish event, and it was amazing to witness. This one young boy had asked for a violin, and he got up there and played for everyone. That's all he asked for. And it just, there wasn't a dry eye. And wow. I was like, I'm an advocate for children. I love children. And I said, I want to be involved. And then they said, will you sit on the advisory board? And I said, absolutely. And it started
before
our
you
journey.
knew what it was,
Before
was involved
I
with
didn't
that,
even care. I was just super honored to be asked.
For those that don't know, let's not assume that everybody knows what this organization does. Why don't you just explain in a nutshell what their mission is?
Make-A-Wish is a nonprofit organization that helps to grant wishes for children between the ages of 2.5 to 18, children that are suffering from critical life illnesses. And every eligible child gets their wish. There isn't a child that doesn't get their wish. We make sure of that.
Now, what's the process like to make a child eligible? Like, right. I'm sure that there are people that want to be involved, and how do you screen?
So we have a medical outreach team that works with hospitals, local children's hospitals, and as long as the child hasn't had a wish before or has a critical illness, they qualify between the ages of 2.5 to 18.
So you guys must take on a lot of...
We do.
Okay.
We encourage the community to reach out if they know of a child that has a critical illness and refer them to us so that we can then try to grant them a wish.
So you use the term critical illness. I think that's an important distinction. They're not all terminal, obviously.
Correct. They changed that from terminally ill to seriously ill or critical ill so that we can reach more children.
So that was changed. It used to be that way. Because I think when people think of Make-A-Wish, I think, and they don't know anything about the organization, that's what they think.
Yes, you're right. You're right. But it's changed over the years so that we can reach more children.
Do they put any parameters on the wish, or like how does that work? I mean,
that's a great question because I was a wish granter, and I had the opportunity to sit with a family, and this young boy wanted to meet the Pope. And I thought, wow, that is the coolest thing ever. And there isn't really a parameter. The wishes, whatever a child wishes for, as long as it's their wish and it's not, say, the parents' wish.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like I wish my mom had a Mercedes.
Right,
possible, yeah.
Right. So you really want to make sure we cater to what the child wants.
Of course.
And this little boy went to meet the Pope, and I gave him...
Wow, so it happened.
It happened. And I gave him a rosary, and he took it to Rome. I didn't know this, that he took it and had it blessed until 5 years ago. He was one of my children honored at my event, and he came over and said, the Pope blessed your rosary, and I showed him your picture, and he blessed your photo, and I was like crying, going, oh my gosh. But that's the cycle of once you become involved with Make-A-Wish, it's with you forever.
Wait, so hold on.
And it doesn't get much bigger than meeting the Pope.
I was about to say, like, out of all the people you could get an audience with, he's probably the hardest in the world.
Yes.
I mean, I can't think of anybody harder. The Dalai Lama, he travels a lot more, right?
True.
But the Pope, he's in that little bubble.
The Pope, yeah. And he met with him, and there's pictures.
I thought you were going to say that one, we weren't able to make that happen. Because
no, we made it happen.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was great.
How do you handle repeat wishes? So what if some other kid is like, well, I want to meet the Pope now?
We'll do it.
Wow. At least they have a pathway at that
They
point.
get the inside track.
We know who to contact.
Interesting.
Yes. Make-A-Wish doesn't stop at anything. When they know that there's a child that has a wish, they do everything in their power to make that wish happen. Because it's not just the child, it's the family. Because the family goes through
absolutely, yeah,
all of it with the child.
So that brings up, you know, kind of probably the most interesting part of Make-A-Wish is, and you've been involved with it for how long now?
15 years.
So 15 years. In 15 years, you've seen some incredible wishes come true. One of which being, you know, this kid meeting the Pope.
Yes.
What are some other, you know, incredibly wild wishes that have come true?
So I think when I think wild wishes, I think of the wishes where the child only asks for like a playground, right?
Yeah.
That says he just wants to be able to go outside and play, and there's an illness that prevents him from being around other children, and the parents really just want their children happy, and whatever that looks like. A lot of our wish children go to Disney, right? That's a fun fact.
Right.
Or Hawaii, but most wish children ask these 4 questions: who do I want to be? Where do I want to go? Who do I want to see? And what do I want to do? So that's how you categorize what your wishes look like. And here's a mouthful, but this is really important. But we just opened the Finker Frankel Wish House in Miami, which is an actual piece of property that is designed to take wish children into look at science and any possibility of a wish, not just where to travel to, but it gives you an opportunity to explore all types of wishes that we can make come true.
Wow.
So that's been a project that has been in the making for years.
And
so
it's probably kind of
brand new.
eye-opening for the child who maybe doesn't even know what they
Correct.
want. You know?
That's exactly
I mean,
what
most
it's for.
adults, to be fair, if it was like, hey, one wish, what are you gonna do? Where are you gonna go? I mean, that's tough for any of us to answer,
Right.
let alone, you know, a child that's dealing with so many other things. So that's interesting that you guys are kind of walking them through, like, here's what it could look like. You know,
Exactly.
you decide for yourself.
Exactly.
Now, I imagine that a lot of the children have wishes to meet famous sports stars. You want to talk about your relationships with professional sports like the NBA and NFL?
So I do know that Michael Jordan just donated $10 million, and we thank him for that
We all do,
incredible
yeah.
donation.
Right.
So there are a lot of children that wish to meet stars, and there isn't one star that says no.
Yeah.
There isn't no one's going to say no to a child that just wants to meet them. That wish is pretty quick if you think about it, but
Yeah.
it's memories that last a lifetime. Most of our wish children will talk about their wishes in adulthood. You know, that they remember, I got a wish when I was 8 and I was really sick, and that kept me going. That gave me hope and strength and joy, and that's what Make-A-Wish is all about. So we haven't really had anyone say no to us.
That's awesome. I'm sure you get some stats over there, but how many wishes does your chapter grant a year?
So we just granted our 15,000th wish in our Southern Florida chapter, which is huge because out of all of the wishes nationwide, it's 585,000 wishes that have been granted to date since Make-A-Wish started.
So you guys got to rank pretty high. I mean,
We are a chapter 4, category 4 on the Charity Navigator, so we are one of the most respected chapters in the country.
Wow.
Yes,
and how long have you been involved with the chapter?
15 years.
Very good.
1,000 wishes a year, in case you couldn't do the math, you know.
That's
Not
all.
that she's granting, but just in general.
But I'm glad you brought up Michael Jordan because I didn't want to steal what I thought would be Trey's question. I would think you guys have Michael Jordan on speed dial.
He just
Right.
called me the other
And
day.
he's
and he
everyone's
actually,
number one wish.
Yeah,
Right.
He wished me the best of luck on today's podcast.
Oh, great.
No
Great.
kidding.
That's a joke.
Tell me.
Yeah, was that a joke?
You had me fooled. Hey,
I know.
Clip out.
I thought it.
Let's clip out the joke
Gullible.
part. Let's clip out the joke part.
Losers.
Keep it. It was totally serious. Well,
We
thanks.
thought maybe
Thanks,
you saw
Michael.
us in-
Thanks, Michael. We appreciate it. Michael actually wished me a lot of luck on today's podcast too. And, you know, big supporter. But
Klauber or Jordan?
all kidding aside, you brought up something that you know is probably one of the root reasons for the foundation in general, and that is to give that hope, right? And I got to imagine that there are a decent number of children that go through this process, and their wish is granted, and now you know they have like a newfound hope. And we all know what maybe we all don't know, but I know what your mental outlook on, you know, your diagnosis or your health or your opportunity that's in front of you, whatever it might be, has a great deal to do with how you move through these things. And there's got to be some interesting statistics. I don't know that you have them on hand, but there's got to be at least a small set of cases where people point back to, like, this was the turning point in my cancer treatment, or this is where, I went from terminal to starting to recover. And how often do you see that?
So you're absolutely right. One of the things that they've been studying over the years is the impact of a wish and what it does for the child's health outcome. And it has been determined that a wish has helped turn the child's health outcome around, because they have something to look forward to. They have something to work towards. They're really struggling. These families are going through the worst unimaginable times of their lives. They're trying to fight for their children's lives. So when they know they have a wish, they fight a little harder because they want to get that wish. They want to go on that trip or meet that person. And then you notice that the health outcome turns around. And so it's been scientifically proven.
Kind of because the wish isn't happening tomorrow.
Correct.
Right? Like, we've got 4 weeks, and maybe in some cases these kids have been given 6 months to live, and they've got to make it to month 3 to just get that wish. And they start to fight a little bit harder, and start to have that something to look forward to, like you said. And
well, it says a lot for like the power of the mind and a positive mindset, and like a purpose to look forward to, right?
Hope is the most powerful force in the world. I mean, you take away hope, life is not that great.
I would have said love.
Yeah, just saying.
Oh my God, shameless plug for Morgan over here.
Shout out.
What a romantic.
So there's some stigma around national organizations, right? But you want to speak to how you guys are a chapter and how the money works and how it stays local.
So what we do with Make-A-Wish Southern Florida is that we serve 22 counties. So there's different chapters. We're the Suncoast Advisory Board, Suncoast chapter, I'm sorry. Then there's the Tampa chapter. Everybody that works within their community, that money stays within their community. But we also are we're Category 1, which means if there's another chapter that needs money and we have it, we will help them. So that's how my CEO is brilliant. He's been doing this for 30 years. The team that I work with, the most passionate people I've ever worked with. I'm so honored and blessed to be a part of it, but that's how the money stays within our own community. We raise it, we keep it, and then we give it to the children.
If you have an excess, right?
We have an excess, we share.
I don't think people realize how rare that is with national nonprofits these days, because they really always want to control the money.
And that's how we're rated as 4-star charity on the Charity Navigator, because of transparency, accountability, and the fact that we will reach across and help our neighbors if they need it.
On that note, what percentage of proceeds that you guys raise go back to granting these wishes? Do you know that? The percentage of money, like we all look at kind of the percentage of money that a charity takes in and how much of it goes out to
how much
cause.
it touches the cause, yeah.
Yeah, I would say 70%.
If you have the stat, you can give it.
I might.
I know you got a sheet full of stats over there, so interesting stats are
make
great.
Sure I don't forget
like
anything.
Felipe always says, we don't fact check, but you have the facts, so.
Maybe they fact check.
In this
More
case,
we don't.
More than 70% of the $15 million annual budget is allocated to wish granting.
Wow.
Very good.
Which is pretty high when it comes to a charity,
Yes.
right? And a lot of this is, arranging these, these meetings and things like that. But how often do you guys actually have to pay to meet a celebrity or pay the celebrity for their time?
That I don't know. That's internal information that I haven't been privy to.
But would it,
But
I would
that's
think
a
they
good
don't want to
question.
expose that.
No, but that's a good
Yeah.
question. I don't know if they would charge a fee based on the fact that I'm from a place of giving,
Right.
And I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure they
You gotta imagine they're not charging.
That's what I'm saying.
That'd be
Yeah.
More
pretty
often
bad.
than not.
They're requesting an honorarium for helping this sick
right,
kid.
Yeah.
right. I think
Well,
that
and that's
But
what
you're
I would,
right, some
I would
might,
be interested to know.
some
Yeah.
might. Yeah, that's a good question. I can
But I
find out.
imagine most of them are doing. I mean, I just listened to. I was actually listening to a podcast this morning. It was like kind of a short clip of a podcast, and it was a golfer that was asked if they'd ever been, asked about a Make-A-Wish, and he said no, and he said, "Would you do it?" And he said, "Of course. I've never been asked, but of course I would do it."
Do you
How
have
do
his
you know you
name?
haven't been asked? It was Dustin Johnson.
Dustin
it was
Johnson?
more of a comedic podcast episode, but it was the question was posed, and his answer was like, "No, I haven't been asked." And how do you know you haven't been asked? It's like, well, because if I was asked, I would have done it. Like
that's great.
No one's going to say no to that.
I don't think anyone can say no.
It really is it's a great cause, but it's the point that I was trying to make with the power of the positive thinking and all of that is like, you think about it, it's like kind of on the surface, it may look like it's just kind of a, you're just giving to give, and it's just this kid is terminal. They're not going to live through this more than likely. Let's grant them their one last wish, genie in a bottle, so to speak, and now they can die happy. But it's about more than dying happy. It's about giving them hope to look forward to and potentially overcoming these circumstances.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of what I was getting at. But
Right.
That makes sense considering we've had a lot of healthcare folks on the I don't even know if I should use the term healthcare. We've had a lot of folks who focus on health on the podcast,
Okay.
right? And one thing that they've impressed upon us is the impact of like oxidative stress on the body and all the systems. So really that hope, does have a medical
Truly
impact.
I think it's the magic sauce for anybody going through anything in life is you have to have hope.
Yeah.
Without it, you have nothing. But these are children and they deserve, happiness and joy and to be a child. So Make-A-Wish will do whatever they can to help that.
Well, we here love Michael. We love Michael's on East, and he's
me
come on the
too.
podcast a couple of times. We love the things that he's doing. How long have you guys been married?
We've been together 23 years.
Done some amazing things together,
Yes, we
haven't
have.
you?
Yes, we
Heard
have.
some amazing stories about
Yes.
some cool trips, and obviously being so connected with the wine industry, he gets front row seat to
He
some
does.
pretty cool stuff. Funny story, he actually got me to buy the bottle of this New Zealand wine at the Forks and Corks.
Oh, really?
It was awesome. My wife ended up opening that bottle with a friend and drinking about half of it. And I found it on the back patio, and I was like, this was the good wine. And so I got to get another bottle of that wine.
I'll be happy to get you another bottle.
But that being said, you mentioned that you got involved with Make-A-Wish at Michael's on East. What does Michael's on East do with Make-A-Wish that allowed that kind of to happen?
So Michael's on East 30 years ago, maybe even more. There were different, every chapter goes through their bumps in the road. And so we were aligned with another chapter before we went to Make-A-Wish Southern Florida. And at that time, I was not there. Michael and Phil did an event with this young, brand new chapter and just donated everything just to help the children, which was something that just doesn't happen. But they have been, and we are now very supportive for all nonprofits. We have a Give Back Tuesday campaign every Tuesday night.
Every Tuesday throughout the whole year?
Every Tuesday
Wow.
through the whole year. Each month we focus on a different charity, and 10% of the proceeds goes to the charity.
That's awesome.
So we're all about making sure we have a great guest experience at the restaurant, but then we're also about helping our community grow and become stronger. And together we're doing it.
Hey, we are having a great time here getting to know Terri Klauber and all about the Make-A-Wish Foundation. If you want to get to know Terri a little bit better, stay tuned for rapid fire questions fueled by food and beer.
Hi, my name is Terri Klauber, and I'm with the Make-A-Wish Southern Florida chapter, and this is Rapid Fire.
10 random questions, 10 specific answers, nothing off limits. This is Rapid Fire, fueled by food and beer. What song do you play when you need to get pumped up?
Oh my gosh. I don't even know the name of it, but I could probably hum it. Wait. It's the yeah, that one. What is that? What is it called? Don't you want me like I want you, baby? That's what gets me pumped up. That's inappropriate.
Coffee, tea, bourbon. What's your favorite?
Tea.
Which road are you avoiding like you're clinging X? I-75, 301, or 41?
41.
You can only choose one, ice cream or cake.
Cake.
I like cake.
Whether it's Creed or Debbie Gibson, what's your favorite karaoke song?
It's at my age, it would be Aretha Franklin. Respect.
I to the E-S-P-E-C-T, and I want things to me.
You can only eat 3 foods for the rest of your life. What are they?
So I love sushi. I like steak, and I'm like a vegetable girl. So any vegetable. Zucchini.
What's your favorite board game?
Monopoly.
Oh, damn. Shoot!
That'll be $1,300 in your get-out-of-jail-free card. Enjoy your stay at Boyd's on Boardwalk.
If you could have dinner with any fictional character, who would it be?
Winnie the Pooh.
I'm rumbly in my tumbly. Time for something sweet.
You didn't see that coming?
You didn't see that coming.
I didn't see that.
If you were a British king or queen, what would you decree? Off with their heads!
Everything's free.
You just blew my mind.
Siesta Key Village or St. Armand Circle?
I'm gonna say St. Armand Circle.
Don't you want me like I want you, baby?
This obviously has to be an emotional job or volunteer position for you. How do you separate when you go home to not take that baggage with you?
That's a good question.
I am still trying to figure that out,
Yeah, I
Trey.
bet.
Michael and I are parents of 6 children, excuse me, and 7 grandchildren. So I have been blessed to have healthy children. And I can't imagine what it would be like to be the parent of a child that's sick and struggling to live its best life. And so I take it with me. It's in my heart all the time because I've met a lot of wish families and their children, and they become part of me.
Yeah.
And I follow them and I stalk them, check on them. But when you lose one, it really hurts.
Have you been able to make any strong friendships with the family members
Yes.
over the years?
Yes, I truly have, and I'm still in touch with all of them. So I'll send birthday cards and care packages and just check on the child, but the parents need the love too. So
I bet.
it's really difficult when you're a parent struggling to help your child through all types of hospital visits and illnesses. It's unimaginable.
Now
really.
we all think this is a great cause. Obviously, that's why we had you on. If someone in the audience wants to get involved and donate or volunteer their time, what's the best route to take?
So just going to Make-A-Wish Southern Florida and clicking on there's so many little buttons to click on, but volunteering time is so important. It's not just about writing a check.
What are some of the things a volunteer would do?
Oh, so my soon-to-be 17-year-old granddaughter has been a volunteer since she was 3.
Oh, wow.
So she would go to
My
events.
kids are
and
eligible then in
They're
that case.
eligible. We have kids with kids that help
Yeah.
in schools, organized event planning in schools, local clubs, things like that. But you can start just by helping to put together baskets for events, They help wrap aprons for my Cooking for Wishes. There's all kinds of things that you can do to help.
Like stuffing and stamping,
Stuffing, stamping,
envelopes.
rolling, wrapping, yes, and then fundraising. It's important to teach our children now to give back. So there's always a portion of their money that they get at a holiday that they give back to a charity.
that's smart.
And I do toy drives and things like that. So
You mentioned the Cooking for Kids. Is that what it's called?
Cooking for Wishes.
Cooking for Wishes.
Yes.
Cooking for Wishes. I know Morgan says she definitely wants to attend that.
She can tell.
Yes. Other than Morgan's excitement, why is that an exciting event or what? And I heard it just raised a lot of money. So talk to us about
the
why.
best. I'll tell you why. So it's an event that's different than any other event that you're going to go to. It's an event where our chef and Phil are on stage, and we have 400 plus people cooking at a table while they
like a hot
lead
plate?
you. You have a pan and a
Okay.
hot burner, and each meal is prepped, and it's all ready for you, and you make the dish
Wow.
that serves the table.
Was this themed?
Themed. This last theme, so I've been theming things for 15 years. This last theme kind of went a little bit different than I had thought. This one was Moulin Rouge, before I had even seen the movie.
A little risque?
It was a little risque, but I thought, why not? It was a milestone. But the year before was Alice in Wonderland and Walt Disney. I did the.
I didn't know Alice even ate in Wonderland.
She went down the rabbit hole. See,
Okay.
this was a luncheon before I took it to a dinner.
Okay.
So for 12 years, it was a luncheon in Michael's on East Ballroom. And I wanted to expand the audience. I needed more space. So I went to the Circus Arts Conservatory. And I went from lunch down the rabbit hole to dinner. And we had over 500 people. And the Circus Arts you can really put some decor in that
That's
beautiful
right across.
space.
That's right across the street, really.
It's right
across
across
Bahia
the
Vista.
street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we were
Bahia
able
Vista?
to.
Or whatever
What's
you call
Where
it.
you
Bahia
from?
Vista.
What do you call it?
Where
Street
you
is
from?
Bahia Vista.
Bahia Vista?
Is Bahia Vista in Sarasota?
I don't know what you guys call it. It's a Spanish
Hey,
word
in
that's
the comments, let us know how you
disambiguated.
pronounce Bahia Vista.
So we went across the street to the Circus Arts Conservatory. We were able to add another 200 people into that venue, and it was the best time ever because you get your mission moment, you meet your wish family. Sometimes we do a wish reveal where the child doesn't know they're getting the wish, and you're honored to be a part of that. And then you're cooking, you're having drinks, you're enjoying yourself, and it's not just a sit down having someone talk to you kind of event. It's incredible. We have a wait list every year.
I would be concerned if I sat at Morgan's table that the dinner might not be cooked right. Or either cooked too much or not enough. So what do you guys do in the
That's
circumstances
when you get
where-
the apron and you get up and cook.
Okay, there you go.
See, it's a gender-friendly event, so the husbands and wives can come
it's
together.
not all on Morgan?
No, it's not
then
all.
I'll come, Trey.
It's not all on Morgan.
Watch out, we got Will Smith sitting right next to you, man. You gotta watch it.
Morgan's a wonderful cook.
Yeah.
What about how much money it raised? I mean,
So this year, when you start with first of all, we have an amazing ambassadorship of people that have been with us for 15 years. So when we do these events, and I'm blessed to chair it with 2 other women that have been wonderful for the past 12 years. And these women that come together share a mission. We don't have a tangible asset. I don't have someplace to take you to say, hey, guess what? This is what's going on with Make-A-Wish. All we have is our stories and our passion. They share the passion, the people come, and the magic happens organically.
Yeah.
It's really, but the $1 million was something that I have been trying to make happen for the past 5. I was like, I should be there by my 10th year. But sometimes it takes a little while. When you're a national organization, people don't realize this is local.
Right.
The money we raise stays in these 5 counties. So I'm really
which is
trying
different
to,
than going to makeawish.com
Exactly.
or org and
Or
just
exactly.
donating, to the National Foundation.
Correct.
We're keeping the money here.
Make-A-Wish Southern Florida is our chapter, and that's what I want to educate most people so that they know what chapter they fall under and that they understand that the money stays here. It doesn't
So
go
if you're
anywhere.
in Sarasota, you're in the Southern chapter of
Yes.
Make-A-Wish,
Yes, you
and
are.
we should partner with the Southern chapter. I mean, not should. If you have the means to partner with the national organization and the local,
Right.
for sure. But if you want to bless and give back locally, partner with the local.
Follow Make-A-Wish Southern Florida. Make sure that you know that is your chapter. Amazon gives back to charities, and you can go and click a little button and say your proceeds go to Make-A-Wish Southern Florida. You can pick a charity that every purchase you make, a percentage goes back.
Wow.
And I've been trying to educate people to do that too. That's giving without even trying. You're making the purchases anyway. So
That's huge.
You just-
I'll be honest, our family spends good amount of money on Amazon. We probably don't do that at all. And that's something that I didn't even know. I knew that you could do it. I didn't know that it was always a thing where you could just turn it on for your purchases.
yes, you can.
Wow.
You can
Yeah,
turn it on.
I've never heard of that, to be honest.
Yes.
So that's interesting.
Well, you heard it here. If you're buying stuff on Amazon, and you probably are, give back to a local charity. It doesn't have to be the Southern chapter of Make-A-Wish.
Yes,
but
it does.
That would be a good
That would be
starting
ideal.
point. That would be a good starting point.
For today, it does.
Kind of going on that national versus local thing, how do you deal with folks who move down here? Because obviously Sarasota is sustained by people moving here, building homes, buying homes, condos, whatever. People who may have been involved with Make-A-Wish elsewhere, but they come down here. How do you handle that?
I think that once you're involved with Make-A-Wish, it doesn't matter where you are.
Yeah.
So recently, just to give you an example, I obviously am in Make-A-Wish Southern Florida. Michael and I bought a home in Maine. I met the woman who started the Make-A-Wish chapter in Maine. There was a little boy who had a wish, and we helped to add on to that wish. So we're all in it together.
Yeah.
And everybody respects the fact that we're really doing God's work. We're trying to help children. That's the
And
most
it's not.
important part.
We're not competing against chapters. Of course, friendly competition and a little motivation to give back more is always good. But it's at the end of the day, the mission is the mission. Whether you're in Florida, Maine, California,
Exactly.
Wherever. We talked about a lot of the positives with Make-A-Wish, and I'm assuming there's not negatives, but there are challenges, right? And
Oh, gosh.
what are some of the challenges that even at a local level or even at a national level that Make-A-Wish Foundation has?
So I would say that the things that I'm aware of, the economic downturn, COVID-19 is a perfect example of how creative and nimble we had to become.
Yeah.
Because I didn't stop the Cooking for Wishes event, so we did it virtually.
Wow.
And I don't know if anyone realizes the amount of work that goes into a virtual 3-course, all prepped, sliced, diced, chopped in boxes.
To mail it to them?
Picked up or delivered
Wow.
to their homes. Where then Michael and I are in the kitchen, our kitchen at home. Chef and Jamil and Phil are in the kitchen at the restaurant, and we are all virtually cooking together.
Wow.
And we managed to do that and still continued to raise hundreds of thousands of dollars.
That sounds fun, actually, because it's almost like a guided meal kit.
It was so
right?
much fun.
But I know that's very different than the
Yes.
live event you put on,
True.
so maybe it would attract a different audience.
It did. But when you have a group of, our community, Sarasota's community is about as one of the strongest communities that I've ever been blessed to live in, number one. But there are so many people that just give because they know it's the right thing to do, and they care. They care.
Well, I don't know if you knew this, but we're the #1 most philanthropic community per capita in the
Yes, I
country.
did.
You did know that.
I did know that.
Of course you knew that.
I did know that.
But we didn't know that
No.
before, like
Page
a couple
3.
No, page three. I'll get to it.
just before a couple of months ago. You know, it's crazy.
No, it's pretty impressive.
Which
if
is
you think
another
about it.
reason why we, as a podcast, have kind of tried to shed more of a spotlight
Mm-hmm.
on that. It's our goal to have one, charitable organization on every month and,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of put the spotlight on them. We've done a lot more than that recently, but Make-A-Wish is not one that was on our bingo card, if you will, for this year.
I would say it's
mainly because you look at it as a national organization, right? I didn't know that there was anybody on the board from our own local community, so it's really cool.
But when you look at our economy here in Sarasota, we don't have the big corporations. We don't have
Correct.
the Procter & Gamble's like Cincinnati or the Googles or any of those companies. So what do we have? We have local businesses like Strong Roofing, Signature Medicare Solutions.
My future sponsors.
Right, Sandalwood Partners.
Sponsors
Right.
for next year.
And then we have a lot of hospitality, a lot of tourism, and then arts, sports, and the nonprofit is probably one of the biggest.
It is. And what's really beautiful is that it's hard to fundraise when you don't have those big corporate sponsorships.
It is.
So I have been chipping away for 15 years, just making sure that people know how impactful their donor dollars are, how appreciative we are. It's all about gratitude. I mean, it's being grateful to anyone who supports you in any way. And so we make sure that we give back to the people that give back to Make-A-Wish.
Yeah.
So we honor and shine a light on everybody.
Since you touched on it, let's go there a little bit with the strategy. Like, what are some of the things that you do to raise money in, like you said, this non-corporate environment?
Well, I start before the event, and I reach out. We have a team of ambassadors that reach out. A lot of it is just introducing and sharing your passion, and then the rest organically happens. Because if I share with you something I'm passionate about and it resonates with you, then you want to know more. If you don't, you move on. We're blessed with being able to share and continue sharing local, because nobody knew that before. For years,
true.
nobody knew. They thought it was all national organization, and the money went all over. So it's about educating yourself on what Make-A-Wish does in our local chapter, and then touching the businesses that you know align with our mission, and that's children, helping children. Obviously, the arts, people that love the arts also happen to love children. So I don't stop talking about it, and I just put goals out there. And the $1 million one, I just envisioned it, threw it out to the universe, and said, "This is the year." It
5
was
years ago.
5 years ago,
Yeah.
but this was the first year that I was just as relaxed as I could be going into the event, because I was like, God's got it.
Can't be as hard as virtual cooking,
No,
so.
it wasn't, but it was a blessing to watch.
It sounds like one thing that separates you from other national nonprofits that are kind of in the chapter format is that you're year-round. I mean, you're doing this constantly. Well, I know a lot of other ones, some that I haven't been involved with, we're really just focusing on that one event
Right.
where we raise most of the money for the
Right.
year.
You're right.
So sounds like a lot of work, actually.
So I have to say, we have Taylor Marini as our regional director, and what's beautiful about Make-A-Wish Southern Florida is that all of these chapters that we have all work with each other. So if Tampa has an event, Sarasota goes to Tampa and helps Tampa. Our Cooking for Wishes event, I have 5 counties show up
Oh, wow.
to help volunteer. So everybody's helping each other. It's not a competition. It's not like who raises more money. It's all about working together. So, and that's based on leadership. Our CEO is all about making sure we all support each other.
We talked a little bit about corporate and the fact that we don't have necessarily as many of those corporate sponsors, but as a company with Signature Medicare, we may not serve children every day, but I definitely hear from agents a lot that want to get out there in the community and give back, and we're always looking for those types of opportunities. But let's say we had 50 willing and able bodies, and we as a local business here wanted to give back and wanted to serve with Make-A-Wish. What would that look like? And maybe there's other companies out there that are would be interested in getting involved with something. Just give me an idea of what that would look like.
Okay, so right now, our Cooking for Wishes is that one signature event, right? That's February 19th, 2026, Circus Arts Conservatory, 6 p.m. That's a nighttime event. Sponsoring a table is something you can do. We have a Walk for Wishes for the first time in October, which is a family-friendly, fun event. Say that 4 times.
Family-friendly fun?
Oh, that was good. At Nate Benderson Park. And that's where you could really, you could sponsor the T-shirt, where your name is on a T-shirt or your name is on the apron, and get your businesses shining a light on your businesses in that way. And that's also a way for you to get your children involved.
They're not my children; they're my agents. But my children would be
involved. But your children would like the Walk for Wishes, and so might your employees for a fun day out.
No, I agree.
And it's a great
the
way
more people that walk, the more money is raised.
Yes.
So that would be awesome.
And that's it.
We want to hear more about that October event then for sure.
October 4th.
That'd be a good one.
Yes.
I mean, Trey's not going to walk it. I'll walk it. You going to walk it, Trey?
I got about 15,000 steps a day.
When in October is it?
October 4th.
Oh, that would be a beautiful time for us, actually. If we're not off, we're doing light work because we're preparing for our busy season, October 15th. So
beautiful.
I'm very interested in October 4th, and that's awesome. What other things locally do you guys do? You have the Cooking for Wishes. You have the walk.
So
what are some of the other ways locally?
The smaller events are they'll do an event at Kendra Scott where a percentage goes back. So right now we're still growing into different ways to raise money in smaller events, and that's just right now. I think everyone's super excited about the last year's Cooking for Wishes event. They're still floating on clouds that now they're starting to break out into different smaller events. But
like retail shops kind of give like what Michael's does on Tuesday, where they're giving back 10%.
Yes, we partner with them and they give a percentage back.
And where would we find when that's going on?
That is at University. So when you go to our Make-A-Wish Southern Florida website, all the events that are coming up are on that.
Perfect. Well, we want to make sure that we'll link that. EW will link that in the video for sure. So if you're interested in that, right below the video that you're watching right now, you'll see the link for that. Okay. But we're talking about local. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, you've been here for a little while. You've seen the growth. You've seen the growth. You don't have to tell us.
No, it's all right. My son's going to be 41, so 42 years.
So you've been here for 42 years. You've got a few opinions on Sarasota and the growth and some of the changes. So I'm going to kick it over to...
Now, this is a mandatory question.
I'm going to kick it over to Trey to shift gears
a
little bit.
It's a mandatory question. That
you can't look at your notes for this either. Can't look at your notes.
Oh, no,
Dominator Law and Trey Martell want to know, what are your thoughts on roundabouts? Give it to us straight.
Give it to you straight. I just close my eyes and pray.
Hope for the best.
I just hope everyone knows how to use them. I mean, to be honest, it just feels like heading north and south is just a speed. Like east and west, they don't seem to slow down.
Wait, say that again, please.
The north to south when they enter. Okay, wait. What's so funny? I'm not sure. He's your husband. What's so funny? I just know this. I live downtown. I live at the Revo, and I'm forever spinning around. And when I get
as soon as you leave the house, you're doing circles.
And get off, I don't know where I am. So, is that a good enough answer?
That's perfect.
Don't worry. He can laugh all he wants. Your track record on roundabouts is better than his.
Oh, really?
So, yes.
Oh, is that why we're asking the question?
I had one little love bump.
Raise your hand if you've ever had a love bump in a roundabout.
No, I haven't.
He's part of the problem.
I have to watch out for you then.
He was texting and driving.
He's also on the road a lot more, to be fair. This guy's on the road
I got
all day.
out. The lady was fine. It's all good. No more. She thanked me for stalking. I said, no problem. I'm actually an expert on this.
Here's my card. Let us know when you need a roof.
Go check out the Sarasota SpeaX podcast. Well, we asked that question as a proxy for growth. So, Felipe, if you want to take it over from there, I teed it up for you.
What do you mean?
The growth.
Oh, I want to hear what he thinks about growth and change.
Oh, the growth and change in Sarasota. Well,
you asked it. You didn't tee it up.
I teed it up for you.
I'll hit it out of the park. No, I never thought I'd be living downtown. That's for sure. So I am happy about
What
the growth.
changed and why? Like,
Where were you before downtown?
I was at the Meadows, so I
Okay.
lived 42 years
So
ago.
University Corridor, I call it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Well, university wasn't around then.
That's true. That's a good point.
fair.
It was, so long ago. So I never thought I'd be living downtown. I'm happy about the growth, but I'm concerned about the affordability of the people that work here. We have a staff that has to drive very far to live an affordable life, and I don't think that's fair. But I see people trying to figure it out. I just hope it's sooner than later. And I support the people that are trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
You know,
really do.
you're 100% right, and you have a better vantage point than most because you work with Michael's restaurant, obviously, and you have a lot of employees, in very specialized areas, right? This isn't a problem unique to Sarasota. That's why when people bring
It's
it up,
100%.
yeah, this is a very common issue in communities like this. It's just it's not as we're not urgent about it,
Right.
Until one of our relatives or our business is affected, we don't really care.
Right. Out of sight, out of mind. But
Yeah.
if you keep talking about it and you work with the right people, you move the needle a little bit. A little bit's better than nothing at all. So.
You're 100%. Well, that's a really
Well,
positive.
I think
look
we're
at
at
it.
least heading in the right direction. I
Yes.
think there's some positive change, and we've even talked about some of that positive change on the podcast. And it's an issue that, like Felipe just said, when it's out of sight, it's out of mind. And we've got a lot of employees here that come from Palmetto and Northport and Venice and all over the place, and it's affordability. Otherwise, they would live downtown next to you,
Right.
or right around the corner because we're all downtown. But it's something that we're not going to fix overnight, right? But the growth, for the most part, is creating more opportunity, is creating a better place to live. I mean, I've born and raised here. I don't think I'll ever leave here at this point in time. Actually, I'm quite certain I'll never permanently leave here. So Maine's a great place. Maybe go there every now and again. But
in the summer
I
when
will
it's
live.
hot.
I will live and stay here. But with that being said, we talk about growth and we talk about the change in Sarasota because a lot of times growing up here or living here, you see it and you just, we talk about a lot of times pulling up the ladder after people come here. It's like, great, but we're full. Nobody else.
Yeah.
But we can sustain more growth. We've just got to make good decisions moving forward on infrastructure and affordable housing and those types of things. So it is cool to be somewhat involved in these issues and be able to talk about them in, a positive light. But I understand that you prepared for this last question quite well. So it's not going to be as hard on you as other guests. And that one I'll leave.
Did I prepare?
That
I
one
thought
I'll
it was
leave.
the roundabout question.
That one I'll leave to you,
My husband
Felipe.
deleted it.
the roundabout question.
Deleted.
So you've been on Sarasota Speaks. You see what we do here. Thank you, by the way.
Yes.
We enjoyed it. Hope you did
My
as well.
pleasure. I had fun.
Who do you know who we may not know, who Sarasota needs to know? Who should we invite on Sarasota Speaks?
Just top 2 or 3,
Okay, listen. I
You
have
could
15.
give us 5 if you
I have
want.
15,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to say
The
them all.
most prepared guest we've ever had.
So I do, and because I'm involved with a lot of other organizations, so I'm chairing 5 events next year. Denise Marzullo, who's the CEO of the All-Star Children's Foundation, and I'm a board member, and it's for foster children. She is going to be your next speaker for charity because when you learn about what we have here in Sarasota, a campus that has 5 acres with 6 homes that fosters children that have been displaced, keeps their siblings together, has a pediatric trauma center on board.
Wow.
Psychologists, doctors, therapists to help children through trauma, it will astound you.
So it's like a one-stop model.
It's
Everything is there.
actually a model that will eventually be nationwide. We have to change the foster care system.
Yeah.
So Denise Marzullo. Gosh, you caught me now.
It's okay. You gave one
Well,
fast.
yes,
That's
I
more
did.
than
Well,
most.
for sure. I have other people in the financial world. I have some people that are in the TED Talk world. I have an author.
Well, we like to expose.
But I don't want to give out the names
Say
yet.
their names.
Well, that's fine.
I can say their name. Isn't there?
Yeah, it's a Beyonce thing.
That's what I was thinking.
No, I mean we
I could
like
say
to
some
expose the audience to the conversations that are being had that we think are interesting. That if people don't know the folks, then they don't know them, and in most cases they don't know they're here
Right.
at all in Sarasota.
Right. So what if you just, if I give you the 15 names, then you can just edit me in and I'll get their permission first?
No, you're good.
Because that's the only thing I would give them all if I got
Part of the fun is
100%
not getting the permission.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Julie Edelman, she's a New York Times bestselling author.
I've heard that name before.
Yes, she's great.
Judy Edelman?
Julie Edelman.
Julie, okay.
Yes. There's more.
That's okay. You've got the
You
list.
gave us two
We'll get
good
the
ones.
list.
We're gonna hunt them down and
hunt
see
them.
what we do.
Oh, you don't have to hunt far.
Well, seriously, it's been great to have you on. It's been great to learn about Make-A-Wish. I don't know if these guys knew, but I didn't know that there was a local chapter. I didn't know that it actually served locally as much as it does. So it's cool to see. I also didn't know that my kids can get involved at 6 and 3 years
Yes, they
old.
can.
And obviously, as good parents, we're always looking for ways to get kids involved in things. So thank you so much for coming on. And before we wrap up, one last time, where people can find the Make-A-Wish.
Make-A-Wish Southern Florida.
Make-A-Wish-Southernflorida.com. Okay. And anything upcoming before October that we want to talk about?
No, we
the
don't
big
have
one
anything.
is October.
The October 4th is the Walk for Wishes.
Okay.
And the signature event, Cooking for Wishes, is on February 19th.
Perfect.
2026.
Well, I can tell you for sure that I'm going to get as many agents out there for the Make-A-Wish walk as we
you.
can, because that
Thank
sounds fun, and it's a perfect time for us to do that and in a way to give back. So thanks for coming on. We all enjoyed it, and I hope you did too.
I did. Thank you.
Terri.
Thank you. Thank you. It was
Great
so
meeting
nice
you.
to meet
You did a great job.
Thanks.